Big Nate in a class by himself. Part 1. Chapter 1. He could have called on anybody. In what year was the 14th Amendment to the Constitution ratified? There were 22 other kids in the classroom, and they all had their hands in the air. Francis did, Teddy did, Gina did, of course, even Nick Blonsky, who usually sits in the back row with his pencil up his nose, had his hand raised. She could call on one of them, right? Guess who she calls on? Nate! Miss Godfrey always does this. She always calls on me when I don't know the answer. And she can tell I don't know it. Ever hear somebody say that dogs can smell fear? That's Mrs. Godfrey. She's like a dog. A big, ugly, nasty dog. I sort of scooched down in my seat. The whole class is staring at me. My ears start to burn, then my cheeks. I can feel tiny droplets of sweat beating up on my forehead. Well, she barks. Cough. What was the question again? I've heard that on average day, you use about 10% of your brain power. Well, sitting here with my mouth turning as dry as a sack of sand, I really need that other 90% to kick in. But my mind is blank. Miss Godfrey steps away from her chalkboard and starts telling me. She looks mad. No, worse than mad. She looks mean. Her face is flushed. I can see tiny flecks of spittle at the corners of her mouth. That's pretty gross. I brace myself, and then the bell rings and rings and keeps on ringing. Except it doesn't really sound like the school bell. It sounds more like I was dreaming. I blink hard, then let out a huge sigh of relief. I've never been so happy to hear that alarm clock in my entire life. Not that I'm ready to get back up or anything. Closing my eyes, flop down onto my pillow. Time to go to school. Hey, thanks a lot, Dad. Way to break it to me gently. Nice parenting. Actually, his parenting skills aren't that bad. He makes the nastiest tuna casserole you've ever tasted. But he's pretty harmless, especially compared to some of the psycho dads I've seen at the Little League games. It's just that Dad's kind of clueless. He has no idea what it's like to be me. I mean, how long has it been since he was in middle school? 30 or 40 years? I think he's forgotten how it feels to be held prisoner all day long in a building that smells like a combination of chocolate, ammonia, and mystery meat. He can't remember what it's like to be an average 6th grader. Not that I'm an average 6th grader. Okay, I'll admit that I'm not exactly Joe honor roll, but answer me this. When I get out there in the real world, is anybody going to care whether or not I know who was vice president under Warren G. Harding? And don't try to pretend that you know who it was, because you don't. The point is, I want to use my talents for more than just memorizing useless facts. I'm meant for bigger things. I am destined for greatness. I'm still not 100% sure what kind of greatness I'm destined for, But I'll figure it out. I've got options. I keep a list on my closet door about this very subject. There's also stuff I definitely won't achieve greatness, like an opera, synchronized swimming, and cat grooming. Enough said. Let's get back to the unfortunate fact that today is a school day. But what kind, Not all school days are created equal. You can rank them by category. Just so you know, I'm really into ranking stuff. One time I spent a solid week ranking every kind of snack food I could think of. At the top, cheese doodles. At the bottom, rice cakes. Dad fact. Dad handed out rice cakes for Halloween one year. That was also the year our house got eggs. Connect the dots, Dad. If I were to grade the different kinds of school days report card style, here's how they stack up. A. Field trip days. I'm not talking about lame field trips when a teacher makes you walk around the neighborhood on Earth Day picking up trash. I'm talking about an all-day get on a bus and go somewhere field trip. Even if they give you a worksheet in hopes that you might actually learn something, you can usually come up with an excuse to not do it. That's what I did last year when we went to the aquarium. A walrus ate my homework. B. Special events day. This is when classroom time gets eaten up by something better, like a movie or an assembly, or better yet, some sort of emergency. Last spring, Mrs. Zerwicki's wig caught on fire and set off the smoke alarm in the faculty lounge. We got to evacuate the building and ended up playing ultimate frisbee on the lawn for an hour. That was awesome. Except for Mrs. Zerwicki. C. Substitute teacher days. I think we can all agree that subs are almost way better than the real teachers. By better, I mean more clueless. The absolute best subs are the fresh out of college ones who have never taught a day in their lives. Frankly, they're not very bright, or maybe they're just really gooable. You know, the word gooable isn't in the dictionary. It's not. But Mr. Galvin always lets us chew gum in class. Okay, carry on. D. Normal days. Unfortunately, most days are like this. You spend 6.5 action hours studying subjects and like photosynthesis and the War of 1812 drilling. You get home after school and your parents are like, "What did you learn in school today?" And you think about it for a solid 10 seconds and then you say, "I don't have the foggiest idea." F. Train wrecks. There's so many ways for a school day to go wrong that it's almost impossible to list them all. You could get screamed at by a teacher, usually Miss Godfrey, for absolutely no reason, which seems to happen to me a lot. You could get roughed up by Chester, the school bully, who looks like he spikes his chocolate milk with human growth hormone, or your teacher could nail you with a quiz or a test you never saw coming. Oh, test? Now there's a horrifying thought. Do we have a test today? I don't remember any teacher mentioning a test yesterday, but like I told you, I don't remember much of anything they say. I usually start to lose interest right around the time I hear, "Settle down, class." Settle down, class? And teacher speak means let the mind-numbing boredom begin. Yak, 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 yak. And by the way, there's a test tomorrow. Yak, 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 yak. It's time. I wish I paid better attention in class, like Francis. Francis, he'll know whether or not we have a test today. Here's the thing about Francis. He knows just about everything. He's always got his nose buried in the book of facts, and he takes school pretty seriously. The truth is, he's kind of a geek, but I'm allowed to call him that because we're tight. We've known each other since the first day of kindergarten. When he started snoring during nap time, so I hit him in the head with my Thomas the Tank Engine lunchbox, and we've been best friends ever since. Let me see if he's up yet. Yep, he's up, and he's reading, of course. But, wait a minute, look what he's reading. His social studies test book. So we must have a test today. Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad. First, because my social studies test book is in my locker at school. And second, because I'm suddenly remembering what Miss Godfrey said to me on our last test. If you do poorly on the next test, Nate, you could very well end up in summer school. Yipe. We've got social studies first period. That only gives me about 45 minutes to study my class notes. Class notes. Where are my class notes? Ah, here they are. Uh-oh. Well, it looks like my class notes aren't going to be much help. Not unless Mrs. Godfrey gives us an extra credit for doodling. I'm dead.